Hey guys, we're back with another episode of BNE with Freeze Rock Ski. This week's guest is a legendary on-air personality, Compton native, and member of the Nevada Broadcasters Hall of Fame. Let's give it up for Carlaya, the Queen of Flow.
Hey everybody, welcome to Carlaya's Cafe. We are broadcasting live from the campus of UNLV inside Greenspun Hall. I am Carlaya, the Queen of Flow, on air from 9 a.m. till noon inside Carlaya's Cafe. So welcome. What's up, Freeze?
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Thanks for letting us into your world.
Absolutely. I'm delighted to be here.
We're honored to have you. So let's start off with your origin story. You grew up in Compton, California?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did.
So how was it growing up there?
It was interesting. It was very different from what it is now, obviously, but my grandmother owned a home there. And so, yeah, growing up in Compton, it was something. You had to roll with the punches, you know. Being the oldest child, I had to be the big sister. So it's been a couple of times. I've been in fights. I've been in contests at school, and so it was a dichotomy of both good and bad.
And how's it different back then from how it is now?
Oh, it's totally different. Back then, I'm talking about, giving away my age, you guys, but I'm talking about in the late 60s when I was growing up there. So, of course, it was different. The whole, it was just different. It was different. It was pretty much black and white. And, yeah. It was just a different time then, but it was definitely Compton. Yeah.
And what brought you to Vegas?
Man.
And when did you come here?
I came here for a wedding. I was invited to my aunt's wedding, and I came down to Vegas. And that night, my cousin and I decided we wanted to go out. So we went to an old nightclub. I think many of you guys may remember. It was called Tramps. And it was on the corner of Flamingo over by the Palms.
Okay.
It was called Tramps. And we went there and we were partying on the dance floor. And the dance that was out, I can remember it to this day, was the Cabbage Patch, you guys. So this guy Cabbage Patched his way over to my area and we started talking. And I started dating a guy here. His name was Charles King of the Charles King Unicycle Troupe. And he and I developed a long-distance relationship, and so I would fly back and forth to Las Vegas. And the more I flew back to Vegas, the more I liked it, and I just wanted to be a part of this culture. I just love the way pulling up to casinos and them opening your car door and just everything just being so glamorous. So I was drawn to that glamour and drawn to this city, because it was glamour, and then at the same time you had that wonderful country feel because it was so spread out.
Yeah,
so,
I remember
and
those
so
days.
new. Yeah, so it was a whole different thing.
What did you want to be when you were growing up?
When I was growing up, what I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to be a dental hygienist. I wanted to be a lot of things. And then once I started to enter beauty contests, they had a glass bowl, and so you would have to pick a subject matter out of it. And the subject matter I picked out of the glass bowl when I was being in a competition, it said, what do you want to be? Where's your favorite place to be and why? And I said, in my bathing suit, my favorite place to be is on stage because I love turning people on. And the whole audience just fell out. So I've always wanted to be on stage, and I guess I've reached my goal being on stage on the radio. So
Absolutely.
So yeah.
How did you first get into radio?
I saw when I was living in Los Angeles, there was an article in the newspaper, in the classifieds, saying we need radio personnel, we need radio voiceover, and come down and audition. So I auditioned for Kaleidoscope Radio Network, and they gave you a copy, and they said read it, and so I read it, and they said you have a great voice. And they said, we would like to offer you a show. You would have to think of the show name and we'll air it on one of our 50 stations, because they had 50 radio stations around the Vegas Valley. So
Oh, wow.
I produced a half-hour show. It was called the New Talent Showcase, where I would showcase new artists who weren't signed to a deal yet and play their demo in an effort to give them more publicity and more exposure, should I say. So that was my entryway into radio.
Did any of those artists become someone to blow
None
up?
of them did.
Okay.
No, none of them did, but they were quite inspiring to me.
Absolutely.
They all had great voices, they all had great content, but none of them really came out, made it big. Mind you, I only did about 7 shows, because after that I moved to Las Vegas. And how did I get to Las Vegas radio? Well, I was listening to Darnell Brown one morning, DB2, and he was having a contest about who did this. It was in SLA, and it was Angela Davis. So I called the radio station. I said, that's Angela Davis. He said, congratulations, you won a CD. So I went down to the radio station and picked up the CD, and I told Darnell, I did radio in California. And he said, you should be an intern here. And I said, yeah, I should be. And so I began being an intern at KCEP, studying under Darnell, studying under Lewis Conner Jr., studying under Darla Johnson, studying under all the radio personalities at Power 88, Jeff to the left, the Sunday Night Slow Jams. And so I developed and worked every shift, worked under everybody to be able to get as much experience as possible, which I did.
So I first met you in 2006. I was doing a street team promo for Prince, and I brought some tickets by the station. You and Diamond D were doing a show together.
Oh, Diamond D!
Yeah.
She's doing podcasts now in New York.
She is?
Yeah, she's doing great.
Oh, you need to put me on.
She's a cap cut pro.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's very salacious.
Oh, I cannot wait to see it. I mean...
Diamond D is salacious. She was one of my best interns. I've had a lot of interns over the course of my 30-year career, and Diamond D, Shayla Love are the most memorable interns I had work under me. That were very inspiring. They took me to another level. Some people you can be with and they drain you. Some people you can be with and they lift you up. Those were the 2 individuals that raised the standard of what, not only what I was doing, but just taking radio and presentation and content to another level. So they will always be very dear to my heart. I've had a lot of interns. I can't dismiss none of the other ones, but the 2 that was really bomb was Shayla Love and Diamond D.
Shout out to both of you.
Yes, absolutely.
So do you have any favorite stories from that time at Power 88?
Well, it was a lot going on then. Favorite stories, I would say, would be the most salacious ones. The ones on Sunday night when I'm there by myself. The ones where even myself would get groupies. And it's nothing like having a good groupie. I can tell you that. So those are kind of memorable. And of course, being able to be exposed to so many musicians and artists that I've had the pleasure of interviewing and knowing, and them knowing me, them being surprised by me and my talent, me being enamored with them and what they've done. And I've had some good stories, but just to give a little clip of the many artists that I've known, I got kissed in the mouth by James Brown.
Oh, wow.
I got put out the car by Bobby Womack. He put me out the car. And
for what?
Because I wanted to interview him. I got in his car in the back seat as he was pulling up to the blues concert at the park in Summerlin. And he just wanted a sweet thing back there. Then when I pulled out my microphone, I pulled out my microphone. He's like, no, 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 no. And I got put out of his car. So, but, and James Brown, when I met him backstage, I'm like, oh, how you doing? He came in. I was like, okay. I got blessed by the King of Soul. Okay. So that was really good. It was kind of cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. But getting back to Power 88, it was the launch pad of my on-air radio career, because prior to that, I would pre-record shows at Kaleidoscope Radio, and you can always stop and go and splice and put a good show together. With radio, it's live. Whatever mistake you made, you got to keep it pushing, and it's a different type of animal. It's going from a tape show to something that's live that you can go back and...
Well, you can't have dead air.
You can't have dead air. You can't go back and correct what the hell you said. It is what it is. So it was a different type of challenge that I had to become a part of. But I would say that I had some really great mentors at Power 88, one being Lewis Conner Jr., because he said, Carlaya, I ain't going to be showing you around here. You got to make your way. And that's kind of like a template for life. Nobody can show you how to do that. You have to be the one to make your way and make things happen. He opened the door, and I did make my way and make things happen, studying under everybody, being Miss Girl to go do this, go do that. You know what I mean? You just got to kiss some eggs, so to speak, to get where you need to go. And I pretty much did that with everybody there, trying to learn every aspect of radio and what it meant. And his thing was, before you even open up that air, before you even go on the microphone, you got to learn how to splice. You got to learn how to put montages together. You got to learn the back end of radio, all the editing programs. It was Samplitude right there. I graduated from Samplitude to another program to Pro Tools. You know what I mean? You had to have that in your pocket before you were allowed to even open up the microphone and go on the radio. So I have to give it up to him for that, and also instilling upon me, if you make a mistake, forget about it right there and keep going. Don't, because you think about that mistake and all it did, it's just going to take your vibe down. Forget about it. It just did. No, nobody ain't thinking about that you mispronounced the word and you did that. So what? Let them talk. You make sure the end of that is as clean and wonderful as possible. So it's not where you start, it's where you end. And so I learned those kind of principles from Lewis Conner. You know what I mean? And I learned a lot from Darnell Brown, who told me about my voice and controlling my voice. And I'm going to tell you what he told me. Said, Carlaya, quit talking up here. Talk from your titties. And I was like, okay. He wants me down here. He wants this voice. He wants the Sunday Night Slow Jams voice.
The Slow Jams voice.
And most people want that voice. They don't want the high-pitched voice. They want me down here, my vibrato and my titties, so to speak. So that was his way of communicating that. And I can't knock him for that, his style of teaching. So I'm just saying, I learned from everybody. Darla Johnson, the Caucasian on-air personality that I took over her shift when I got at KCEP. She was so tight on her board. Her board was just like sublime. She'll go from a caller to the next song, going in and talking, and it would be bam, bam, bam. Her skills on the board, I admired with such reverence. And I wanted to be like Darla on that. I admired Darnell with such passion and such blackness. I wanted to be like him. I admired LC, the professionalism. I wanted to be like him. I admired the Sunday night guy who likes to be down here and just was very relaxed and didn't have to talk and say much, but I'm just giving you these slow jams. He wanted to be right here. I wanted to be that too. So combining all those things, one day a guy called the radio station and says, Carlaya, you play the same songs everybody else does, but when you play them, you flow. You the queen of flow. I was like, okay, I'll be the queen of flow.
Who was it? Do you know who the caller was?
No.
So an anonymous caller gave you your nickname.
My acronym. Yes, he did.
I love it.
Yeah, he called and told me, you play the same things everybody else play, but when you play music, you make it flow. You the queen of flow. I said, okay, I'm the queen of flow. See? That's smooth guitarist Tim Bowman on 91.5. Happy Friday. You're inside Carlaya's Cafe. This weekend, don't miss 2 full hours of live performances from Dave Toll and friends at Vic's Las Vegas in downtown and Symphony Park. You can see them live or tune in from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday night right here on 91.5 as we'll be broadcasting live from Vic's Las Vegas. For more information on Vic's, you can log on to VixLasVegas.com for reservations. Dave Toll, drummer, vocalist, along with bassist John Belgazzi.
Okay, so now you're on KUNV. The first time I was at KUNV, I came here for a school field trip. It was in 1996. I was a senior in high school. Wow. Yeah, I remember Tupac All Eyes on Me had just come out because we were listening to it on the bus on the way here.
Wow.
And we went into the station, which I think, if I recall, it was at the top of the student center back then. And I'd been listening to a show for a few years called the Word Up Show with Warren Peace and DJ Pizzo.
Oh, yes.
Legendary.
Everybody listen to that show.
I loved that show.
Me too.
Yeah, wasn't it so good?
Yes, it was so good.
Yeah.
It was great.
So that actually launched me. I went to college like a year and a half later, and I got on the radio, and that was like my inspiration. So being back here is pretty great.
Absolutely.
So how'd you get to KUNV?
Well, the general manager was my intern at KCEP.
Oh.
He was an intern. His name is Ashton Ridley. Dr. Ashton Ridley is the general manager of KUNV 91.5 of the radio station, and he was once an intern at KCEP. So when he got on, he said, Carlaya, I'd like you to do weekends.
Yeah.
And so I started to do weekends and filling in for other shifts. Eventually I got on midday. I did midday for a while. And then when the great, wonderful John Nashin, we lost him almost a year ago or so, when he succumbed. And then that's when I moved over to the morning show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's how I got here, through an intern who was once an intern under me. You raise them from a puppy, now they bite you. But this bite was good because he brought me back into radio, because after I left KCP, I started my own radio station, which is KQOF at queenofflow.com. And it's an internet radio station where I stream music and occasionally go in and out and speak and talk and do shows. So that's been my baby. And I've enjoyed doing it because I'm able to play whatever I'm playing, whatever I want to play. Nobody have to tell me, don't play this, don't play that. I play what I want, and it's a mix of R&B, old school, jazz. I might throw a classical in there, soft rock. I play Led Zeppelin, but I also play Donnell Jones. And I also love me some R. Kelly. And I also love some of the other stuff. So I keep it smooth and R&B-ish for the most part. It's got a vibe. And I'm enjoying programming my own radio station.
That's so cool.
And I've got so many listeners in Germany from all places. In Germany is listening to my station almost as much as Las Vegas. So that's been it's a curious. I understand it's a lot of bases in Germany. You know, a lot of army bases or whatever. So I think they have found me, and so they're able to stream me all over the world. And I'm getting love not only here locally, which I definitely appreciate because I like my local people, but also out the country from all over. So that's been a wonderful,
You're global.
Yes, I'm global, and it feels good. And I just want to get more listeners, but I have to do some more engaging, I believe.
A little more promotion.
Yeah, a little bit more engaging. They maybe want to hear voices, and right now I'm doing a lot of music, which is also appealing because people don't like to hear a lot of spots, a lot of drops, a lot of stuff going in and out. They just want to hear one song to the next, and my station gives you one song from the next, one song to the next, one genre to the next, and it just seemingly it flows.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So KQOF.
KQOF.
Well, if you guys are
Queen
out
of
there,
Flow Radio.
check it out.
Just tell her, what you call Siri, play KQOF, Queen of Flow Radio. Alexa,
KQOF.
see?
Queen of Flow Radio.
There you go. On iTunes.
That's
okay?
hilarious.
See, it's playing it. So that's all you have to do is tell your device to play Queen of Flow Radio, and it will. So
you got to meet a lot of artists and interview them and get your album signed. You have a lot of albums signed. Do you have any like really big ones that you cherish or like?
Absolutely.
Yeah, tell us about some of those.
Okay, the good or the bad?
I want to hear both because I want to hear the good and then like did anyone refuse or what happened?
Yeah. Okay. So, I started getting my album signed. I started to get a talent or a desire to get my album signed at the latter part of my career, maybe 15 years in, after meeting so many artists. And I decided, hey, I'm meeting all these artists, let's get an album signed. So it kind of catapulted from that. The first thing I had signed, though, was James Brown, but it wasn't an album, it was a poster. I had the entertainment director working at the one that's in the Mandalay Bay. She worked there.
House of Blues?
House of Blues. She was the entertainment director. She said, James Brown's guy said, please get my poster signed. I gave it to her, and she had James Brown sign it. This was after I met him. But that was my first signature was James Brown. And then it just started to catapult from there.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was just wonderful. The more I did it, the more I got. Every time someone came into town, if they had an album, I would be digging through my record collection, thanks to my Uncle Danny, who gifted me his record collection when I was 17, 18 years old. He didn't give it to his kids. He gave it to me. All right. And
sounds like a good uncle.
I cherish those albums. He taught me how to hold an album. Don't put your hands on it. You hold it like this. You hold it from the edges. Don't put your fingers on it. He told me and taught me how to respect vinyl. And I respect him. And so I respect all my vinyl. All his vinyl that he gifted to me was immaculate. He cherished his album. He was a drummer, so he would play the Tower of Power. He would play to all the drum, Chicago. He would just put the album on it and play drums to it in his living room. So he always was a collector, and he gave me his collection. I think that's what catapulted my love for music and to get into radio, you know what I mean, was the music. But getting back to album signing, I decided that every time a musician came to town, I was going to get them to sign my album. They came all through the radio station. I got a lot of my album signatures from Power 88 from being involved at the radio station, but I also did my outside stuff. So people that didn't come to the radio station, I'm having my albums in a case and I go to their venues and get my album signed. Next on my list is Patrice Rushen, y'all.
Okay.
Wish me luck. Okay, she's going to be at the Walt Disney something in Los Angeles. But be that as it may, I would beg, borrow, and steal getting my album signed. I snuck backstage at the Hollywood Bowl, baby, when Brothers Johnson, Quincy Jones, all his folks was there. And it was hard to get backstage, but honey, I put on some fake lanyards. When I snuck backstage at the Hollywood Bowl during Quincy Jones's gala celebration for all the artists, and Patty Austin was there, Brothers Johnson were there, Quincy Jones was there, of course, and I brought all my albums down to Los Angeles. I bought tickets to the show. I excused myself from my girlfriend, my cousin Treasure. Said, I'm getting ready to go get my album signed. Honey, I walked back there with the musicians. And I knew George Johnson. And so I get in his dressing room. He's like, how you get in here? My son can't even get in here. And he looked at me, oh yeah, I know how you got in here. He was referring to my boobs. And I was like, no, I know. So I got, of course, George Johnson, Louis Johnson, Patty Austin. And when Quincy Jones came off stage, he sat on this leather couch. I didn't say nothing. I went right over to him, got on my knees. and started handing him albums, and he had the gold pen. Next one. He just kept signing.
You didn't say anything.
I didn't say a damn thing. Not one. I was going to keep my mouth shut. You guys learn that. Keep your mouth shut and just do it. I didn't want to say, oh, I'm Carlaya, Queen of Flow from LA, from Las Vegas. Would you sign my albums? Let him think whatever he wanted to think. He probably thought I was part of the whole whatever. He didn't care.
You were backstage.
I was backstage. Yeah. He was sweating, just got off stage. Oh, sure. He's used to doing that. He signed 5 of my record albums. Quincy Jones.
That's cool.
It was great. After he signed the albums and we had our little hoorah, here comes security guard.
Who are you?
What you doing back here? I'm going to Flow. Well, you need to go. I'm good.
You already made it.
I already made it. And I swooped out of there with my album signed. And it was the greatest day of my life. I was like, yes. I was so happy. I am still happy to this day that I got my album signed.
You need to do a little break.
No, I'm just setting up though.
Okay.
I'm so happy that I got my album signed. It was a dream come true getting Quincy Jones to sign his first album, stuff like that, Body Heat, baby. I was in it to win it, and he signed it with a gold tip felt pen that I bought from an art store. No black markers over here, baby. Oh no black markers. We don't do all this Sharpie crap. No. We had the gold felt marker pen that just came across my albums beautifully. I was okay. I'm gonna tell you about the bad one coming up next. Let me get my quote of the day, you guys. I'm gonna tell you about the bad album signing I had, the experience I had. I wouldn't say it was bad. It was just downright wretchery. It was just something. Okay, I do a quote of the day, right?
Okay.
I do a positive quote or just an enlightening quote of the day, and I post it. Okay, and so I share that with the audience every day while I'm signing out. So allow me to go ahead and write this down right quick. Some people take you for granted, then later realize that you are rare.
So tell me about signing that didn't go so well.
Okay, well, album signing that didn't go so well. I tried to get backstage at Fountain Blue. They were very rude. They didn't respect an air personality who's been on the radio over 30 years in Las Vegas. And they didn't give me no kind of love when it came to getting backstage to get Elvis Costello's signature. So that was the first turn down I ever had. Was the Fountain Blue. And to this day, I will not step foot in that mother. But on another note, I crashed B.B. King's 87th birthday because one of my coworkers was DJing there. I arrived there at the Trump Hotel where they were having the soiree, his birthday party. And I'm trying to call my friend Thump, and he wasn't answering his phone. Luckily, this is how God works. I pull up and the attendant says, oh, they knew my enter. Hey, Shayla, are you here for B.B. King? Yeah, what room is it? Told us the room, told us the floor. So we get up there and my friend said, oh, my phone ain't working up here, which was, you know what? My phone, I said, I've been trying to call you, my phone ain't working up here. I said, okay, no problem. I'm here now. So I set my albums down. I'll go over there. Hey, baby. Hey, who is you? I said, I'm Carlaya, the Queen of Flow. I've been on the radio for 30 years. I'm here to wish you a happy birthday and was wondering if you'd be kind enough to sign one of my record albums. He was like, He was in the wheelchair, honey. He hugged my waist and we stayed there for at least 3, 4, 5 minutes. He wasn't letting me go. BB was holding on. And then he turned back, talked to his kids, his grandkids, everybody, whatever, who's floating around. Then he come, now who was you again? And so we had this who was you, and we would go back and forth. And he was just so cute and so nice.
That's cool.
And then I get a little tap on my shoulder. And I said, what's going on? They said, DJ Thump, he wants you. I said, okay, I'll be over there in a minute. I'm here with BB. So I'm here, we be talking, and then I finally get up and leave and go see what he wanted. He said the sisters don't want you around him. I said, what? The daughters don't want you around him, not the sisters. The daughters don't want you. Mind you, he got a couple baby mamas and daughters, you know, a lot of whatever, daughters. Be that as it may, I was like, oh, okay. So they going in inside the kitchen with their food and stuff, not offering anybody nothing. Then one of the sisters comes up to me and says, next time you come to BB King party, don't wear jeans. And she had a evening dress on and some house shoes. All right, getting back to my BB King story. Yeah. Well, I wasn't feeling the love at the BB King 87th birthday party. I was told that my jeans weren't appropriate for the birthday party, although I had a nice shirt on and some jeans. So they had an open bar, and yours truly went to the bar to get a couple of drinks. Uh-oh, guess what's gonna happen now? I went to the bar, had a drink. And I said, Shayla, I'm not feeling the love. Let's just go. And she said, okay, let's go. But I said, before I go, I'm going to say bye to BB. So I went over and I said, BB, bye. We're going to leave now. It was so nice meeting you. Thank you. You know, happy birthday. He said, I thought you wasn't with them albums signed. Bring one of them albums over here. I flew across the room. I got my albums. I had like 4 of them. He signed one, but he was looking through them and his face was so serious as he thought of each album. The one I signed was the one that has The Thrill Is Gone on it, which is the most famous of the BB King songs.
That's the one I know the most.
Absolutely. So he was opening up the cover, just look. He probably hadn't seen his own albums in a very long time because he looked at them with such emotion and such reverence. And he took the gold tip pen and signed my album. So as I'm blowing it, his daughter, one of the daughters came over to me and said, this ain't no album signing party. She said inside her mouth, so this ain't no album signing party. I just like was
okay.
Like, you know what, B? Okay, I blew the ink, baby, and got out of there. But I will always remember how kind and memorable BB was, because from the time I met him and the time I went back to say bye, he remembered. He still had his brain. You know, he still had his wits.
Yeah, because he was saying, who are you a few times, but before you left, he knew exactly who you were. He knew
exactly who I was, and he was kind enough to tell me to bring one of them albums over there.
That's so cool.
And it was just so, I respect and love him to this day.
That's a good one, because he's gone.
Yeah, it is.
That's a good one.
And it's so dear to me, that album signing with his signature on it.
I love that.
Yeah. That was one of the wonderful ones. You know, one that wasn't so comfortable, but I prevailed through and was able to get my album signed despite the hateration that I received in the room.
Well, if that all hadn't happened, it wouldn't be so memorable.
It would not have.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It wouldn't. You're exactly right. I love you, BB. My thrill ain't gone for you, baby.
You know, when the first time I ever heard of The Thrill Is Gone, MC Hammer on his first album did a song called The Thrill Is Gone.
Did he?
And he sampled that.
Oh.
And I was born in 78. This came out in 88.
Oh.
So I was 10.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who BB King was because I'm 10 years old.
Right.
But I knew MC Hammer.
Yes.
And he did The Thrill Is Gone.
I'm going to find that.
One of the best songs MC Hammer ever did.
Yes.
His first album, Let's Get It Started.
Because I like Have You Seen Her, too? His rendition of that
yeah, of course.
as well.
Yeah, that was a good one, too.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've met a lot of great artists. I met Luther Campbell. I didn't have any album with me. I met Luke. And we vibed for a minute, and I told him how appreciative I was that he opened the door to have the stuff he went through to get music played and the stickers.
Absolutely.
It's all because of him. He went to the meetings, you know, at Capitol Hill and doing all that. He did all the groundwork to get the stickers on there to be able to release content that had cursing on it from day one. He was the first, and he doesn't get a lot of accolades for that.
Well,
and I
and
think he
then
should.
they also took him to court and they tried to take away our freedom of speech, and
Absolutely.
he
He fought
prevailed
for
in
that.
that.
He certainly did.
You know,
So way to go, Luke. I always love you, Luke.
hell yeah!
Yep. And he was the
Shout out to
first
Uncle
one.
Luke.
Yes, he was the first one that had all the nasty booty parties. I don't know what y'all doing now. Y'all ain't been to a party unless you been to a Luther Campbell party, okay? We used to go to these radio conferences back in the day, BBD and the radio networks. They used to have these conferences, and Luke was always the one that he would come out there with his entourage and do that. I remember Destiny's Child, and I met them in the elevator when they were first coming up and stuff. The beginnings of Destiny's Child. And look at Beyonce, you know what I mean? And meeting her. So shouts out to Miller London with Black Music Network, that he had a good thing going on with the conferences. I don't even hear about radio conferences anymore like we used to. Even Jack the Rapper. Jack the Rapper was great. I worked with him at Power 88, and he was just phenomenal. He would say, Carlaya, if I was younger, girl. Like, what? If I was 20 years younger, girl.
How old was he at the time?
He was in his 80s.
Oh, wow.
He could have been in his 80s. 70s.
Okay.
He was up there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and mind you, I was probably in my 30s at the time. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
that's a big gap.
It was a big gap, but I reveled in it nevertheless.
Of course.
He makes me smile. What's his sugar? You my sugar. He always say that sugar. Yeah.
Well, talk about Tap and Ash and what you've got going on over there.
Well, Tap and Ash is a cigar bar, and every Friday, the radio station 91.5, we highlight a different musician and a different artist. So I open up for them, and we broadcast that artist over the radio here on the airways of 91.5. So that happens every Friday night. And I have the opportunity to meet so many local musicians here that are up and coming. Even Miller London stepped through there one time. I wasn't there during that night because he went on a different night, but he was there on the stage of Tap and Ash. But we have such other great talent. Tonight it's going to be Casso Live, who's a wonderful bassist, along with Rick Parma, who's an awesome singer and saxist that does a lot of Bob James, Dave Sanborn type stuff.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah, and he has an incredible voice, so he's going to be there tonight. But some of the other musicians, Matt Seward, who's a great bassist, and some of the I've met some great musicians at Tap and Ash. So I'm honing into the local talent here in Las Vegas, which is large, you know what I mean? Michael Speaks, he's incredible. He was a R&B singer from the 90s that did some great stuff. So he's there on occasion. And so being able to open for a different artist every Friday night, it's nice. It's nice getting paid to party. So
absolutely,
it's my let go night when I get to just relax and have a drink, have a cigar if I'm inclined, and just chill and watch some really good talent.
Where's Tap and Ash located?
It's in the Las Vegas Arts District on Commerce Street off of Wyoming, 1606 Commerce off of Wyoming. And they have different things every night, but Friday night is 91.5's night where we do, something we call cigars, bourbon, and soul. So, yeah.
Well, if you guys are in the Arts District or just downtown, go ahead and check it out on Friday night.
Absolutely. I would love to see you guys. That would be great. I am in the process of writing my own book.
Oh, let's hear about this. Yeah, I want to hear about your book. Please.
To be honest.
Let's hear about your book.
My book is,
Do you have a title? Or if you don't want to say, you don't have to.
I don't want to say the title.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm writing a lot of content. Some parts of it.
Is it an autobiography?
I would say, but if I've ever put this book out, the names would definitely be changed to protect the innocent, including myself. So being able to be inspired to write, a lot of times you meet a lot of people, and I've always wanted to write, but it starts, if you ever wanted to start writing stuff, start off as journaling, because that will be
That's smart.
That would be the gateway to you becoming an author is by journaling and the things you do today, because some of the things that you do on a daily basis can be snippets of a book. And so that's the part that I'm developing. And I try to keep my life spicy, so I have a lot to write about.
Oh, I'll definitely be one of the first people to buy your book. I can't wait to read it.
So yeah, I mean, I enjoy that.
How about books that you would recommend people to read to follow in your footsteps? Do you have any books that you want to throw out there that you really, you love?
That I would recommend.
Yeah.
Dostoevsky, something that's very challenging to you verbally, that allows you to, get outside your own spectrum of things. I find that American.
He's the Russian author, yeah?
Yes, he is. The mindset of them is just so far above. If you ever watched a British film, if you ever watched stuff like that, their level of attack is whole different than ours, than American film. And it's nice to get that difference, and it allows you to explore the inner workings of your own self and your own limitations, and you're able to step outside that box and create something that's really special and really good. So I would recommend reading Russian novelists.
Okay.
Just to get outside of this American way of.
Absolutely. You can't just think about, there's a whole world out there.
It certainly is.
You know what I mean?
And it's nice to get outside that world.
But where do you see yourself in 5 years, in 2030?
Well, I work at another job because radio obviously don't give me the lifestyle that I love. And I am going to be putting the gas on my own radio station and being able to relax in that realm of programming and creating content and having a way to explore and get to my emotional side. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're putting your money on yourself.
I'm putting my money on myself.
Good.
Yes, I am. And what I'll be able to do and explore and go do things that I wasn't previously able to do because you were making a living. And now I'm at the point where I want to get to that level and cruise.
Like what's something you want to do that you haven't been able to do yet?
Besides travel and
or
devote more time and all the things that I have in my albums, devote more time in listening to different musicians, not new musicians, just old other stuff. And I wouldn't say old, but just other genres. I have so much albums. I have over 4,000 albums.
Wow. We're talking vinyl record albums.
Vinyl records.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to listen and catalog all of it. And they're not cataloged to where I don't know what I have, so to speak.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fun project.
Mixing out all the doubles so that I can get rid of doubles and concentrate on this one. So, just doing that. That's what I want to concentrate on.
Traveling, where would you want to go that you haven't been yet?
Antarctica.
Yeah.
Greenland.
Okay.
I want to go up that way. We're going to be going to Paris and London. We're going to be going up that way. It's wine country this year.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, I've been there before, but we're going to go to a segment of it.
Okay.
That
Antarctica is cool because most of the world will never go there.
I know. I flew over it a few times and I was like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. I want to go. I want to land.
That's cool.
So yeah.
I definitely support you going there because literally I've known a lot of people. I toured the country for 10 years and the people I toured with, they were all travelers and they all traveled and that's what they spent the majority on their money on. And only one person out of all those people has ever been to Antarctica that I know of. So it's like, it's pretty exclusive club there.
It is, definitely.
That'd be a cool one. Yeah. So are there any questions that I haven't asked you that you'd want to mention? Or, and do you have any projects coming up?
Projects coming up. I'm going to continue focusing more time on queenoflow.com. So I've also been asked and begged to do podcasts like you, but
thank you.
So that's coming as well. I was around Nas one time. Ooh, he had on some good cologne. I was like, oh, sitting right next to him. Somebody like that, their cologne is smelling good. I don't know. And it wasn't no cheap stuff. All right. Whatever he had on, I was like, what is that? And he told me, of course, I don't remember, but he smelled good. It was something you wanted to get close to. That's how cologne should be. Just a little bit. And if it's good, you want to get close to it. But when you dousing it all over and thinking it's going to attract somebody, it's going to do the complete opposite. When you're meeting a woman and she's got perfume all on, you guys just monitor it. It's about having a little. Or why even have some at all? I don't mind colognes or perfumes. I have a few myself. But you would never, thank goodness, I won't be the one. You won't be hugging me and going away with it. At least not on your persons. You may have the memory of it in your nostrils.
So maybe minimalist with your cologne.
Minimalist
and
with my
perfume.
cologne, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's a big pet peeve with me. Somebody coming in and dousing themselves. And
Also, you're in
out.
such a small room. Like it's
I don't care if I'm in a big room. If you smell them coming down the hallway, it's not a good look.
Okay. So if you were on a desert island by yourself, what
music?
5 albums?
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Hey, I know you're very into music, so if you can't name 5, you can name.
I can name a lot, but
name 5 at least.
5 albums?
5
or
albums.
5 artists?
No, albums. 5 albums that you got.
Lonnie Liston Smith, Love Is the Answer.
Okay.
John Clemmer, Touch. Roy Ayers, You Send Me album. R. Kelly, Chocolate Factory.
There's 4.
Minnie Riperton, Adventures in Paradise.
There's 5.
That's just roughing the surface.
Yeah, no, you came off with those quick.
And the reason why is because those aren't necessarily albums of my genre, but as I was coming up, my parents were playing them. I was my mother's DJ before I ever became a radio personality DJ. I was dropping the needle on the vinyl for her. And these were the artists that I heard oblivious to as a young girl.
Minus R. Kelly.
Yeah, minus R. Kelly. I was oblivious to it. But boy, after they died, after so much time has passed, it is the sweetest sound ever that keeps me grounded and keeps me going on after losing parents, keeps me going on after we've lost so many loved ones. Music is a time machine. Don't get it twisted. You saying there's no time machines? There are time machines. You got people that are deaf, dumb, and crazy. Put their song on. Watch them come alive.
That's right.
It's therapeutic. That music is therapy to me because I grew up to it and it just soothes me. And the bottom line is that stuff she played was that Donald Byrd, you know what I mean? She was in the Donald Byrd. She was in the John Clemmer. She was in the Led Zeppelin Whole Lotta Love album. She was in to all that, Bobby Humphries. And boy, it's like sweet music to me, and none of this newer stuff could ever take the place. So Desert Island, I would definitely be on with those type of artists.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
How can people find you online?
You can go to my website at queenoflow.com if you're so inclined to take a trip down a roller coaster lane because I'm all over the place musically. You can also find me online at kunv.org at the radio station. I'm here live Monday through Friday from 9 to 12. And you can always reach me at queenoflow.com if you have a request or a comment.
And then how about social media?
I'm on TikTok, Carlaya Queen of Flow. You can check out my videos. The videos are of other artists that I have the pleasure of capturing. And you can check out the music videos at Carlaya Queen of Flow on TikTok. So find me on TikTok. You can also find me Carlaya Queen of Flow on Instagram and Queen of Flow Carlaya on Facebook.
Awesome. It's been such an honor to chop it up with you, and I appreciate you having us in your world today, Carlaya.
Absolutely.
So if you guys are out there, like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And thank you for having us, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Yes, and before I go, I just want to let you know, it's not what you play, it's how you play it.